Alright guys, it's about time we had an update on the 1971 Mustang here. Yeah, it's been probably a little while since we had the last one, but this is it right here. Finally got it back from the paint shop today, and as you can see, it is an amazingly nice day out here. I think it's 45 degrees right now, so it's really nice out. I went with Snapper Rocks Blue, BMW Snapper Rocks Blue. We got some work yet to do here, but the hard part, as far as I'm concerned, is done. The paint is on, but we've got to do some, as you can see here, some alignment issues, you know, with the trunk and whatnot. We got to move the trunk back. We got to get this eyebrow in a better place, etc. I've got some weather stripping actually that I bought to put in behind here that's supposed to be on there. We gotta align the doors a little bit better, get the gaps better, get it setting up a lot nicer, you know, so on and so forth. Obviously the hood needs to be adjusted there, but I'm calling it a victory because of the fact that it's done. The body work and the paint, as far as I'm concerned, is done. And the rest of this stuff is just, you know, it's just the tedious. Now the real work begins, actually. But I just didn't have the time, nor the patience, really, or the facility, I guess, would be the big thing, to do the body and the paint work, especially the paint. So this was going to be done by me, start to finish. But I'm going to concede that this is the only part, at least currently, that I'm currently subletting out. Basically, is the paint. If you've been following me along all the way from the very start, you'll know that I tried to have some guy by the name of Matt Wilson. By the way, Western Nebraska, Northern Colorado, Wyoming area. You hear the name Matt Wilson, run like a motherfucker. Okay, just run away. Okay. Just run away. So anyway, I was gonna have that guy do the work on the car in over a year, and nothing. He didn't do shit. He just took out the windows and some trims, and that's pretty much all he did. So I went and grabbed it, and I just started doing it all myself. And as you've been, again, following along in my videos, you see that I've had it on the rotisserie. I installed the Total Control Products front end, rack and pinion, 4-link rear suspension, tin man fab, subframe connectors, the 2015 Mustang GT seats, you know, all that stuff that you saw that I did. And you know, in the beginning, yes, I was a little bit better about recording everything. It's just I've gotten so busy that I'm not able to do that video editing and all that stuff all the time. So basically I just do things like this, so at least you can kind of keep in the loop and you kind of get an idea how long this thing will take if you don't have all the money up front or all the parts up front. If you're going to be doing this like I did as you go, and you got to save for it, this is going to give you a good idea of what something like this is going to cost and what it's going to take. People are going to ask how much I paid. You're basically, you might as well just say north of $15,000 is what you're going to be paying for something like this, to do all the body work and the paint, and I've already done all the rust repair. Okay, so and body replacement. I'm just talking about, you know, getting some good straightness, you know, body sanding, smoothness, putting on the color, and putting on 6 coats, by the way, of clear, and buffing it out. That's exactly what happened here. And again, we are still not done. We've got plenty more to do. Okay, so again, for those interested, those asking, it is a BMW Snapper Rocks Blue. The code is C1G. So you can, and it's the 2016 year. And I don't know much about paint per se, but that's the paint that he used anyway. And I chose the BMW color, not just because I liked it, but it was a fairly modern color. And if anything happens to this, I can get the color mixed up, because BMW is a pretty popular car. The code is easy to quote match up to, and it'll be around for a while. Let's just put it that way. So that's the reason why I went with the color. I was looking for something either blue or green with this pearlescent metallic kind of look. And I almost went with, they call the green Hornet green, that some 1968 Mustang one-off Hornet Mustang was painted that green or whatever, and there's really not a paint code for it. You have to just kind of, look at the pictures and do the best you can to match it up. And my thought in my mind was, if I ever have a problem later, how am I going to get them to match it up, especially if I lose the code or the original mixture of how we, do it from the start. So that was the reason why I really leaned over to the blue. I could have found a green, actually, in a modern day green, but I didn't, because I was just leaning really hard on the blue, basically. I'm thinking of when I get my wheels, so I'm going to have stainless trims and chrome pieces and that kind of stuff all over this thing, because I was thinking about going with this or the green, and I was going to black out the wheels, and I was going to black out the bumper, and I was going to black out the window trims and all that kind of stuff. But then I also got to thinking, oh my God, that's going to take so much time to paint all that stuff, and then it's just going to run the risk of peeling and scratching and all that other crap that you have to deal with on those small trim pieces and moldings and etc. So I just said, you know what, screw this. My stuff was all chrome, stainless, whatever. Just kind of clean them up, polish them up, and put them back on, and just be happy with it. So the wheels I'm going to go with, at least what I'm planning, is they're going to be like a polished ring around the outside, and some sort of color on the inside. And most typically it's like a gray that I've seen the style that I like. There's a gray center to it. So what I'm planning on doing is putting those wheels on here, so you have the stainless or the polished ring around the outer edges that will match up with the chrome bumpers and the trims and all that. And then that gray, I'm hoping to get it in a kind of a darker gray. I'm going to be building a custom grill at some point, and I'm also going to be putting a lot of cars I've noticed don't have like anything here. They just have the body metal, but I've actually got this stippled looking, I don't know what to call it, like a tail light piece or whatever. It's separate, and it goes on there. It has some chrome trim, or I think it's stainless actually, and somebody before painted it, so now I'm gonna have to take that paint off and buff it up and make it shine and silvery and chromy like the rest of it. But anyway, I'm planning on painting that rear valance piece as well. I call it a valance piece, I guess. Painting it the same color as the center of my wheels, and also the grill the same color as the center of my wheels. And then what I'm also thinking of is getting like a darker maroon, maybe metallic-ish, or I don't know, not sure yet, but a maroon or a red, and putting, one little, I don't know, Shelby or Snake or something that's, kind of done up really nice and cool in that red in the front and in the back. Probably getting a fuel cap and making it that same red color. And then I used to have Mustang, what do you call that, cursive Mustang here. I took that off, but I might put like an engine displacement badge there or something in that same maroon red color. I'm not too sure yet, but that's the plan. Who knows if it'll end up being that plan, but that's the plan. So for now, what's the next step, you might ask? Well, the next step is we got to get the battery in, because I'm going to put it in the trunk, so I got to get that mounted up. I'll be getting the battery in, running the cables up here to the front, probably getting just a basic switch, get a carburetor on the engine, get that thing started up, because as of right now, I've not started this engine. It needs the cam broken in. I don't even know if the transmission works, and it's empty right now, so I got to fill it up with fluid. Get it going. Hopefully when I shift it, it goes in gear and it does what it's supposed to do, at least at the bare minimum, because what I'll be doing is I'll be obviously, instead of pushing it in and out, I'm hoping to just get it running good enough to where I can actually start it up, back it out, and get away from this wall, because these doors are really long. The doors are really, really long, and you open them up, they'll come clear out here and they'll hit up against this wall. So I can back it out and center it more into the driveway here, so that way when I open the doors, I don't hit anything. And again, start assembling. So that's probably my first goal here, just to kind of get this thing ready to run again with a carburetor. Eventually, at some point, this will be fuel injected, but first, I just want to get it powered up, get it to run to where I can move it around under its own power, so I don't have to push on it all the time. And then wiring. That's the main thing. While I got it all open like this, I'm going to be using the Speedway Motors 22 circuit aftermarket universal kit, and I'll have a brand new updated modern fuse block panel that I'll put somewhere. I got to figure out where I'm going to put that, and then just start running the wiring everywhere. I'm not going to use factory wiring, because it was working, but because I'm going to do fuel injection and a lot of other electronics and whatnot, I did want to upgrade, and I just didn't want to take the risk of putting that old wiring harness back in and having a problem. Not only that, but you can obviously send, them in and get them refurbished, but, for that kind of money, I might as well, in my opinion, upgrade and have plenty of circuits to, run any and all electronics that I want to do on this thing, because we are going to modernize this rig a little bit, or quite a bit more, actually. I mean, it looks old school on the outside, but on the inside, it's going to be quite a bit more modernized. So that is the plan. Get it running, at least at bare minimum, and get the wiring placed into it. And once we get all the wiring put in, backup camera and all that kind of stuff, and get the dash superstructure put in, because it's all missing, and then we'll start getting the climate controls and all that kind of stuff with that old air conditioning heater unit hooked in there, and get all that hooked up. Gonna repaint the steering column there, repaint possibly the dash. I think we're gonna have to do that too. The top of the actual dashboard itself, all that kind of stuff, and get all that done, and then we can actually start putting the interior inside of it, get the seats recovered to a color that's kind of cool and matches. Maybe go with that gray with the wheel with the little red accents. Who knows? I don't know. It kind of sounds good to me. I think my back seats are in great shape, and they're all black. I'm probably just going to reuse those, because they're in perfect shape. So I'll probably just go ahead and use them. Get that rear landing all recovered, etc. All that stuff put back in there. Get it all back together. Get the custom grill in and all that. And it's going to take some time, and it's going to take a little bit to get everything going here. I would really hope that it's running and moving here in the next month or so, but I just don't think I'm going to have the glass and everything in it and driving this year. I'm afraid I have to say it, but because of how busy I am at work and everything else I got going on, I don't think I'm going to have this thing running and driving this year. But we'll see. We'll see, because I've still got some quirks to figure out with how to hook up the power steering pump to run the Hydro Boost brakes, and the rack and pinion. There's a whole bunch of things I got to figure out there. Plus, again, this engine here, I'm just planning on getting it running so I can move it around, but it won't have power steering. I don't plan to hook the power steering up to it. In fact, I might not even put coolant in here. I'm not even joking. I mean, I'm thinking about just, because I'm just going to be starting this thing up just to move it out and put it in the driveway and shutting it off. That's really all I'm going to do. But I do need to break that cam ends, which means I got to run it for some time. So I don't know. I might have to put a radiator in there for that, I guess. Either that or I'll stuff a garden hose up in it and just, you know, let the water run through it. But I don't know if that's a good idea, but I've seen people do it. If there's a way I can do it that it doesn't make a huge mess, that might be what I do. But again, this engine is going to be coming out at some point because I'm putting a roller block with a EFI in it. And again, this engine here, the whole purpose of it was to just get it in there. And this is the Junkyard Dog motor, by the way, if you've been following my channel. But its only purpose was just to get it in there and get it to run and to back it in and out. Because I had a running engine, but man, it was in bad shape. It was really leaking bad and it was smoking. And we opened it up and we just ended up rebuilding this one. So yeah, there you go. As a matter of fact, that one right here might actually end up in the 65 Fun 100. That is also on the channel here if you want to go checking out what we have done to this thing so far. And that's also the other thing that's coming up. I bought a frame for this, so that frame will be coming here sometime this spring, summer. And we'll start working on that frame and rebuilding it. And the plans for it is to, you know, get everything on the frame all rebuilt. CPP big 13-inch brake system on it. And rebuild the rear axle, the drum brakes, etc. Get all that hooked up. Get a powertrain put in it, which again, I'm leaning to using this engine right here, actually. Over here and putting a 6R80 6-speed transmission behind it with an adapter and a shift controller and dropping that sucker right on that frame. And then in the meantime, I can drive this as it is right now. And when I get that frame and powertrain all set and exhaust and everything's all done, just take and lift this thing off and start doing, you know, some of the rust repair that needs to be done on it, and put some coatings and stuff on it and swap it over onto that new frame. So that's the plan for the 65 F100. If you want to follow along with that, follow. And as you now know what we're doing with this, this will probably be leaning as more of a priority, but I also want to put a radio in that right now, actually. I am actually preparing to get a radio stereo system in this sucker here. So there was a quick video that I put up, I think a week or so ago, on how I was doing that. So I want to get that radio in there because I just want some tunes in this pickup when I'm driving around. And I'm going to make it to where, you know, everything can just kind of bolt and plug in real quick. That way when it is time for it to pull it out, to take it apart and fix everything, I can easily just, you know, drop it out, take it as an assembly, and put it right back in when I'm all done. So, all right. Well, thanks for following along. Like, subscribe, rumble, of course. And come back for more because we're always going to have more for you. And thanks for your support, your encouragement. And if you've got something like this too, let me know. I'd like to maybe take a look at it myself. So spread the word, guys. Thanks much. Bye-bye.